let's start with the prayer of Motuas. We call it the Motua Bandana. Joy Joy Harichand, Joy Krishna Das, Joy Sri Vaishnava Das, Joy Gauri Das, Joy Sri Sharupa Das, Pancha Shahodas, Potito Pavono Hetu Hoilaya Avatar. Joy Joy Guru Chand, Joy Hiraman, Joy Sri Goloko Chandra, Joy Sri Lochon, Joy Joy Dashara, Joy Mrityunjoy, Joy Joy Mahananda Premanandamoy, Joy Natu Joy Brojo, Joy Vishwanath, Nijo Das Kori Mure Koroyatosha. Now, as we discussed, Sri Harichand Thakur, the founder of Motua religion, always emphasized on the value of family life, on the value of family work. He laid down the principles on which Motua was founded, and one of the major principles among them was the function or was the performing of daily course in everybody's life, and he kept that function above the performance of rituals. Above the performance. So he said the rituals contribute in no way or in no more way than the performing of daily activities, and the performing of daily course to lead a normal family life has more importance than performing those rituals which have no objective or no end. So to emphasize these teachings, what he did was he took the baton upon himself and he tried to cultivate a field which was not arable or which did not produce any crops for last few years. So to prove his point of how performing daily activities, routine activities, day in, day out, year after year, one can perfect the art of living. So through this, he wanted to say, if you perfect the art of living your daily life, functioning in the society in an effective way, you can make even unarable land arable, and you can produce crops. So there is a poem to that effect. Let us go through that. সব কর্ম করা ভালো গৃহজন পক্ষে, গৃহস্থের করা ভালো সব কার্য শিক্ষে. So he says, সব কর্ম করা ভালো, meaning there is no bad deed. Everything is good for a person in the family. A person in the family should contribute in any way possible. গৃহস্থের করা ভালো সব কার্য শিক্ষে. The person in the family should be motivated to learn all the functions of a family life. So this is again in departure to the common beliefs or the common societal system or the common patriarchal mindset whereby the man is expected to go out and earn, be it through cultivation, be it through office, or be it through any other sort of occupation, and the woman in the family is supposed to raise the kids, feed them, cook, wash utensils, wash clothes, and so on and so forth. However, there is a clear departure that we see. Sri Harichand Thakur emphasizes on the fact that there is no distinction between man and women when it comes to the daily course. Each is required to learn and perform every sort of activity that goes on in a normal family life. চারি বর্ষে যে জমিতে হাল চাষ নাই, সেই জমিতে চাষ করিতে লাগিল গোসাই। লোকে বলে এই জমিতে ধান্য নাহি ফলে, বৃথা পরিশ্রম প্রভু করো কিবা বলে। So what the Lord or what Sri Harichand Thakur is trying to prove here is that he wants to prove to the world that okay, he is in principle a religious practitioner. He preaches Motuaism, right? But instead of that, he has perfected the art of cultivation as well. So his personality or his range of activities is not limited to the mere chanting of names or chanting of the mantras or whatnot. He has perfected the art of cultivation. So when he goes to cultivate the field, his followers stop him. They say, for 4 years, this land has not been cultivated. What are you going to prove, or how are you trying to cultivate this land which cannot be cultivated, or which people have failed in cultivating? This land is unable to produce. This land is infertile. It's unable to produce any crops. So all your efforts will be wasted, and you will get tired unnecessarily. এত শুনে হাসি মুখে কহেন গোসাই, অফলা জমিতে আমি সুফল ফলাই। যশবন্ত পুত্র আমি নাম হরিচাঁদ, এবার করিব যত পতিত আবাদ। So, hearing what his followers were saying, he laughed. He laughed a little and he said, অফলা জমিতে আমি সুফল ফলাই। I am the one who can make infertile lands fertile. যশবন্ত পুত্র আমি নাম হরিচাঁদ, I am the son of Jashwant and my name is Harichand. এবার করিব যত পতিত আবাদ। I am here, or I have come to make all infertile fertile, or make all depressed depressed and bring them into normalcy. So there is an anecdote to this, but there is a sort of a metaphor which the Lord is trying to convey through this poem. So the infertile land can be compared or points to the depressed classes who have been deprived of the teachings or of the good religious practices of education, of leading a good life, of land and such. So in a way they are leading an infertile life. They are not fertile with respect to leading a good life. They cannot raise the crops of success, of goodwill, of happiness in their life, because they have been deprived of the nutrients to do so. So the Lord has come to make these infertile men, these unhappy men, fertile and happy. So this is the metaphor in the quotes. এদেশে আবাদি তোরা চিনিলি না কেহ, মাটি যে অফলা থাকে এ বড় সন্দেহ। পতিত আবাদ জন্য আশা এদেশে, কি ফল ফলিবে টের পাবি ভবিষ্যতে। So the Lord says, all of you are not aware of the potential of this land. All what you are seeing is the present condition, but you are unaware of the potential. I can see the potential of this land, and I, through my effort, through my labor, will bring out the potential. I have come to do that. So because you do not know the potential, you doubt about the characteristics of the nature of this land. But you will only get to see the results in the future once I have performed, or once I have uplifted, or once I have made this infertile land fertile. So again, there's a clear metaphor here, and it's quite easy for us to understand. খাঁটি মাটি হলে ফল না হয় বিফল, ভক্তি করে ডাকে তারে দেই প্রেম ফল। যে ফল চাহিবি তোরা সে ফল পাইবি, কল্পবৃক্ষে মূলে যদি প্রার্থনা করিবি। So he says, খাঁটি মাটি হলে ফল হয় না বিফল। So what makes a land fertile or infertile is the earth, right? So when the earth is good, it is not possible that the land is infertile. It is just so that the efforts has not been put in. So if you put in the effort, if you chant the Lord's name, if you submit your will to the Lord and do as the Lord says, or do as the Lord wishes, then you will get the result. You will get happiness in your life. You will get relief, right? So once you follow the Lord, you will get what you want. Now, Harichand Thakur got enlightened at a very young age. During this process of enlightenment, there was a time, or there was a day when Harichand Thakur, through the process of enlightenment, or during the process of enlightenment, could talk to his inner self, or the body, or the physical form of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur could talk to the soul of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur, or the emanation of the Lord himself that was within his physical form. So there is a poem to that effect which records this conversation. It says, মহান পুরুষ রূপে আপনার আত্মা প্রভুর সম্মুখে আসি কহিলেন বার্তা. So the great Lord, or the great man, through the soul came in front of the physical form of the Lord and responded to him. নামধারী দেহরূপে তুমি হরিচাঁদ, জীব শিক্ষা লাগি নর জগতের নাথ. So you have taken the form of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur and you have come to this earth to teach all human beings and animals alike and to become their master. তুমি স্থূল আমি সূক্ষ্ম উভয়ে অভিন্ন, দেহ আত্মা মোরে দোহে মূল নাহি ভিন্ন. So you can be touched. You are a physical form, and I am not. I am sort of. I'm in thin air. The soul cannot be touched, right? So you can be touched, and you have a physical form, and I don't. But that does not mean that we are different. We are one and the same. And we have come here to do the same thing. Our objectives are the same. গৃহ ধর্মে সুআদর্শ সব দেয়া হলো, দেহ গৃহে সূচি কার্য জীবে কি বুঝিল. দেহ মন নহে সূচি গৃহ ধর্ম করে, ছিদ্রযুক্ত তরিসীম ডুবে যে সাগরে. So it says that the soul within says that we have already given human beings all the necessary tools and all the necessary practices to help them lead their life, but they are trying to digress from all those practices, and they are finding solace, or they are going more towards all these unnecessary practices which have been propagated in the name of religion. So the soul says, what have they understood? They have not understood our message. So they think that a person who does all the family course are not pure, and those people who think like that are in a boat in the ocean which has a hole. So they think that they will go from this land to this land, they will cross the sea, but they don't know that they have a hole in the boat and they'll never be able to reach the destination. দেহ মন সর্বক্ষণ রাখিতে পবিত্র, শিখাইতে হবে জীবে সেই মূল সূত্র. So to help them in purifying their character, purifying their souls, we have to reignite, or we have to make them relearn the course of the fundamentals of existence, of the fundamentals of performance of daily activities. তুলিয়া নামের ঢেউ প্রেম প্লাবনেতে, ধুয়ে মুছি নিব সব নাম প্রবাহেতে, শুদ্ধাচারী বীজমন্ত্রী নামে জপে মালা, একা একা যেতে চায় সমুদ্রেতে ফেলা. It says, I will wipe all this sort of unnecessary practices that are prevalent, that has become prevalent nowadays. All will be wiped out in the name of the Lord. So I will take the name of the Lord, and within the name of the Lord, or intermittently between taking the names of the Lord, I will preach them in such a way that all these unnecessary practices will be wiped out. শুদ্ধাচারী বীজ মন্ত্রী নামে জপে মালা, একে একে যেতে যায় সমুদ্রেতে ফেলা. So it says that all these people who chant names and who live a very lonely life, they think that staying alone can help them in achieving freedom. So they want to achieve moksha alone. গুরু রূপে ব্যবসায়ী টানে দেয় মন্ত্র, প্রাণহীন দেহ জানে জুড়ে অঙ্গযন্ত্র. Very interestingly, it says here, a fake guru comes and gives utters a few words in the ears of his followers in exchange of some money, and they think that the followers think that their life has been fulfilled, or they were lifeless before, and they have been given the key to the toy. So we have toys which run on keys. We turn the keys and they run, and they think that these followers are so ignorant. They think that hearing this mantras will change their life. এসব সামান্য খুব সব ডুবে যাবে, হরি প্রেম প্লাবনেতে জীব মুক্তি পাবে, দেহ মন শুদ্ধ হলো স্থির হবে আত্মা, তখন শিখাতে হবে গৃহধর্ম কথা. So what the Lord says is that these insignificant creatures will all be wiped out. So I will first wipe them out in the name of the Lord, chanting the name of the Lord, glorifying the Lord, and bringing to each and every one the glory of the Lord. So once they have been purified of these ill practices, we will teach them the importance of leading a family life. When Sri Harichand Thakur started to preach his teachings, it was not without opposition. In fact, the opposition was ferocious. Sometimes it was through actions, and sometimes it was through words. So I'll quote an instance where the then gatekeepers of Hinduism confronted Sri Harichand Thakur and made certain allegations. So let's see what these allegations were. So it says, so all the upper caste Hindu people were very angry at Sri Harichand Thakur, and they said that even the gods themselves they follow these upper castes. So how dare does a person from lower caste come and preach them of the Lord's name? So this guy has taken the form or has spread the untruth that he is Hari Thakur, and he has some rogue followers, and what they do is they roam around and spread falsehood. So that's it. ব্রাহ্মণ বৈষ্ণবে ভক্তি মোটে কিছু নাই, দিবারাত্রি হরি বলে সেজেছে গোসাই, এমন আশ্চর্য কাণ্ড দেখি নাই চোখে, হরি নামে জ্ঞান হারা হয় নাকি লোকে. So these people says ব্রাহ্মণ বৈষ্ণবে ভক্তি মোটে কিছু নাই. These people don't even respect the Brahmins and the Vaishnavas. All they do day in day out 24 hours is they take a robe and they take the appearance of Goshai and they chant the name of the Lord. That's all they do. They don't listen to anyone. Such a sight we have not seen anywhere before, and this is the first time that we're seeing that taking the name of a Lord can make someone mad, can turn someone into a lunatic. So that's what these people are, lunatics. মেতে যাই হরি বলে ভঙ্গি কব কত, হরি বলে মেতে থাকে ও বেটারা মতো, বেদবিধি নাহি মানে না মানে ব্রাহ্মণ, নিশ্চয়ই করিতে হবে এ দল শাসন. So they say that these people have become lunatics in the name of the Lord, and they do such kind of weird activities like dancing and singing. So these people take the name of the Lord and they do all kinds of weird things. They don't follow the Vedas. They don't follow any of the Hindu sort of practices or restrictions, and they do not even follow the Brahmins. These people need to be controlled. So it's time that we control these kind of people, because they are a menace to the society. So this is what the Hindu upper caste, or the gatekeepers of Hinduism then had to say about Sri Harichand Thakur and his followers. Hearing this, this is what Sri Harichand Thakur replied. Hori dhan, Hori gyan, Hori nam shar, premete matuara, motua nam jar. খ্যাতি শুনি লক্ষ্মীপতি হরিচাঁদ কয়, মতুয়া উপাধি ধন্য জগন্মান্য নয়। ব্রহ্মকে জানিলে হয় ব্রাহ্মণ উপাধি, বৈষ্ণবে ভজনা করে বৃষ্ট নিরবধি। নামি হতে নাম বড় জানো সমাচার, নাম পড়ে অধিকার একা মতুয়া। So he says, the person who has lost himself in the name of the Lord is a motua. So the person who knows Brahma is a Brahman. The person who worships Vishnu is a Vaishnava. But a person who only takes the name of the Lord is a motua. নামে প্রেমে মতুয়ারা সব, কোথায় ব্রাহ্মণ লাগে কিসের বৈষ্ণব? So it clearly says, when you have lost yourself or you have submitted yourself by taking the name of the Lord, you do not need a Brahman or you do not need a Vaishnava to show you how to reach Lord, because you have already done that. You are far ahead of them in that regard. স্বার্থবশে অর্থলোভী যত ভণ্ড সব, স্বার্থশূন্য নামে মত্ত মতুয়ারগণ। These people, these gatekeepers of religion, have their own selfish interest. They want money, and that's why they are rogues and they are culprits of the religion. They do not propagate the religions in its true form or in its simple manner. They complicate the religion and make it so unreachable to the people that when they try to find the Lord, these guys come in and say that this is so complicated and you need to pay us money for this. So these guys are rogue cheats. স্বার্থশূন্য নামে মতুয়ারগণ. So only people who practice religion, who truly submit to God without any selfish interest, without any greed of monetary gains, are the motuas. ভিন্ন সম্প্রদায় রূপে হইবে কীর্তন, হরিপ্রেমে মাতোয়ারা মতুয়া সমাজ। পড়ার প্রবন্ধ কহে কবিরা। So it does not matter where you come from, as long as you sing and dance to the name of the Lord. The name of the Lord is the only thing that keeps the Motua Samaj going, or that keeps the Motua Samaj enchanted. So the teachings of Sri Harichand Thakur can be encapsulated or is encapsulated in a single word by Rosharaj Tarokchandra Sarkar, the famous poet who has written Sri Harililamrita as Prashasta Garhasto Dharma. That means the religious way to live a family life. And in a poem he summarizes all the major teachings of Sri Harichand Thakur. So let's take a look at that. রামাকান্ত বরে হরি ধরাতে উদয়, যশবন্ত দেবে গৃহে সফলা ডাঙায়, প্রশস্ত গার্হস্থ ধর্ম জীবে শিক্ষা দিতে, অবতীর্ণ হরিচাঁদ আসি অবনীতে। So the Lord took birth in the house of Joshobanta, in the village of Shofoladanga, to teach all human beings the benefits of Prashasta Garhasto Dharma, or to lead a religious family life. And to do that, the Lord himself came down or took the form of Sri Harichand Thakur. ধর্মের নামেতে জীব অধর্ম করয়, ধর্ম দুঃখী তাই দেখি শ্রীহরি উদয়. So the poet says that in the name of religion, the Lord saw that all kinds of malpractices are being conducted in society. So this made the Lord unhappy and he decided to come down himself. নাম ধর্ম নিয়ে এলো শ্রী গৌরাঙ্গ রায়, অনিত্য সংসার বলে জীবে শিক্ষা দেয়, আদর্শ দেখাতে গোরা সন্ন্যাস হইল, সংসারের জীব কিন্তু সংসারে রহিল. So he says that it's not the first time that the Lord has come down to earth. He has come down in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and others who have come before him. But what happened is, these followers or these incarnations of the Lord took the form of a sannyasi, right? So they took the form of a sannyasi, they preached about Lord, and they led a very sort of charismatic life, and they had a lot of followers. But when these people passed away, or when these people left their bodily form, what happened is the followers of the people in the land, they went back to the family life, right? So they remained in the family life. So they did not become sannyasi. So in a way, they could not continue with the teachings of these great men. Rai prem radha rosh boli gora kade, nari prem buji bhakto pore moh fade. So it says here that Sri Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to cry at the love that Radha had for Sri Krishna, right? So he used to cry and used to sing about the love and used to praise the love and used to it was the purest form of love and so on and so forth, right? But what the mortal men understood, that it is good to love a lot of women, right? So they misconstrued the teachings of Sri Sri Chaitanya, and what they did is they fell into this trap of misogyny, of philandry, and all kinds of ill practices. জগৎ তারিতে এসে সংসার ছাড়িল, সংসার সংসার হলো জগৎ ডুবিল, সংসারের মাঝে তাই গৃহস্থ সাজিয়া হরিচাঁদ অবতীর্ণ নাম ধর্ম নিয়া। So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he preached and he went, but it did not cause a sea change in the society, because because he was a sannyasi and people did not follow his lifestyle, people misconstrued his teaching, they propagated his ideas into their own theories and performed all kind of malpractices. So to do or to correct this ill or to correct this wrong, Sri Sri Harichand Thakur came, or the Lord reincarnated in the form of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur in a family life. শৌচাচার কুটিনাটি শিক্ষা দীক্ষা মন্ত্র, সংকীর্তনের মধ্যে যথা ডুগডুগি যন্ত্র, বজ্রস্বরে ঘরে ঘরে হরিচাঁদ ক্ষয়, শোনরে কলির জীব আর নাহি ভয়, সংসারে সংসারী থাক তাতে ক্ষতি নাই, চরিত্র পবিত্র রাখি সত্য বলা চাই. So it says, so Sri Harichand Thakur came and he said that do not fear, I am here and I am going to teach you how to lead a good family life. So how to protect your family and how to protect your family life, how to preserve your relationships, how to perform daily activities and still be religious. So it says the first step to do that is to speak the truth. Griho dharmo raksha karo, bakya sattya karo. So the first step to protect the relationships of a family life is to speak the truth. Hate kam mukhe nam del khola hao, oshoter songe chhadi hori hori bol. গৃহ ধর্ম রক্ষা করো, বাক্য সত্য কও, হাতে কাম মুখে নাম দেল খোলা হও. So speak the truth. Number 2, perform, be active, perform all your duties. Hate kam means work in the hand, perform all your jobs by taking the name of the Lord. So while performing your jobs, have the name of the Lord on your lips. And be open-hearted. অসতের সঙ্গে ছাড়ি হরি হরি বল. So leave the friendship or leave the companionship of people who are untrue or who do not speak the truth or who perform ill activities. Instead, spend that time in singing or dancing to the tunes of the Lord. কুফল বিফল হবে পাবে প্রেম ফল, পুরুষে করিবে ভক্তি পিতা মাতা ভাই। অসতের সঙ্গ ছাড়ি হরি হরি বল, কুফল বিফল হবে পাবে প্রেম ফল, পুরুষে করিবে ভক্তি পিতা মাতা ভাই. So once you do that, you will get the true love for the Lord. You will receive the love of the Lord in you, and you will also be able to submit your will to the Lord. The men, পুরুষে করিবে ভক্তি পিতা মাতা ভাই, the men will always respect the mother, father and elder brother. নারী পক্ষে প্রতি ভিন্ন অন্য গতি নাই. The women would respect the husband, would respect the family. পরপতি পরসতি স্পর্শ না করিবে. This message to men, that other women are not to be flirted with, are not to be touched, are not to be molested, are not to be seen in a bad light. Nadak hori hori tomake dakibe. So if you do that and don't chant the name, it does not matter, because the Lord will recognize these activities and will himself shower his blessings upon you. গৃহধর্ম গৃহকর্ম সকলে করিবে, হাতে কাম মুখে নাম ভক্তি রাখিবে। So গৃহধর্ম গৃহকর্ম সকলে করিবে, so everyone would perform the daily family activities, হাতে কাম মুখে নাম ভক্তি রাখিবে। So work in hand, the name in lips is all that is required to keep us prevent us from becoming insane. গৃহধর্ম রক্ষা করে বাক্য সত্য পাও, যোগীর নাসি কিশোর নাসি কেহ তুল্য নয়। So that person who protects his family life, who protects his family relationships by while speaking the truth, there is no saint or no sort of sage or no practitioner of religion who is better than this person. গৃহেতে থাকিয়া যার হয় ভবোদয়, সেই যে পরম সাধু জানিও নিশ্চয়। So that person who stays in the house and gets enlightenment. So while performing these activities or following this principle, you can still get enlightenment when living a family life, and that person will be called the true religious or the true pious man or the true pious person. Now we are going to see how some of the stories of Sri Harichand Thakur's character, of his charisma, played out in society and how it affected others in the society. So this is a story of Chaitanya Bala. So Chaitanya Bala was a well-known person in the community. He had a command over a lot of people. He was extremely knowledgeable, he was extremely just, and he was extremely good at cooking. However, when Sri Harichand Thakur came to visit a function that he was organizing, and he was handling the department of food, he observed that as soon as Sri Harichand Thakur entered the function, all the women folk who have been cooking under his supervision almost flew out of the room, almost flew out of the kitchen, and they flung around Sri Harichand Thakur and started dancing and singing with him. Angered by this, Chaitanya Bala, who wanted the women to be under his supervision, under his tutelage, under his commanding, was not very happy at this situation. So he tried to convince Sri Harichand Thakur to stop the music, to stop the dancing, to stop the preaching, so that the women could come back and cook. But such was his charisma, such was his personality, such was his magnetic sort of identity, that even he fell flat. And he says, how is it possible that I, who have such command over the people, who have such speaking abilities, commanding abilities, and I, who am not fearful of speaking in front of even a lakh of people, am falling flat in front of Sri Harichand Thakur. And it must be so that Sri Harichand Thakur has some magical powers to attract. Otherwise, this is just not possible. This is just not humanly possible. So this is what he says. Baninath kohe bani mridu mridu hashi, mohini hoite jahi Vaishnaver dashi. So the king of Baninath means the king of words. The king of words was speaking his words and laughing and smiling while doing it. Mohini hoite jahe Vaishnaver dashi. All the workers or all the worshippers or all the servants of the person Chaitanya Bala was looking at Sri Harichand Thakur in a very sort of transcendental manner, almost in a trance. হরিবোলা সাধুদের ভক্তি অকামনা, তন্ত্র মন্ত্র নাহি মানে ব্রজ উপাসনা, বিশুদ্ধ চরিত্র প্রেমে হরি হরি বলে, অন্য মন্ত্র তন্ত্র এরা বাম পথে ঠেলে। So he says that Harichand Thakur seems to be very different from other religious godmen. He is not doing any tantras, he is not chanting any mantras, Sanskrit slokas or anything like that. He is only with his followers, he is only chanting or praising the Lord, chanting the name of the Lord, and that's it. And it seems that it's the only thing that is doing is chanting the name of the Lord in deep love. So Vishuddha Choitro Preme Hori Hori Bole. So it seems that the only personality trait that they carry with purity is the name of the Lord on their lips. Onno tantra mantro era bam pode thale. That means they are putting all the Hindu sort of rituals aside, all the Hindu mantras aside, and just chanting the name of the Lord. Shuddhacha Krishna mantre bhakte jop kore, onno mantra jop tap pap ganna kore. So in their purity, they are only chanting the hymns of Krishna. All, not only Sri Harichand Thakur, but all his followers were doing the same. And any other mantras, any other sort of convoluted, complicated sort of mantras, they were considering, they were as if they were avoiding it so vigorously that as if they considered it as a sin. মোহিনী গণিকান কাম বিলাসী পিচাসী তার মন্ত্র হরিভক্তে স্পর্শিলে অসুচি হিংসা বুদ্ধি যারা তারা মিথ্যাভাষী হবে সব সভা জিনে এই মন্ত্রের প্রভাবে so it seems that so these people who had the chance to who had the predisposition to impress, who had the personality to impress, the Chaitanya Bala says they are not originally very good people, or they are not good at heart. They have mastered this dark arts of trapping people in their magic, and they conduct their business in such a way. So it seems that Sri Harichand Thakur has been able to capture the entire congregation in his magic. পরগনা মধ্যে তুমি মহামান্যবান কোটি জনে কথা মানে এমন সম্মান ভক্তিশূন্য রসশূন্য ভাস অপভাস তথাপি সবার মধ্যে পাও বড় যশ so he says the entire district considers you to be a great person. Crores of people listen to your thoughts and hold you in a very high regard. ভক্তিশূন্য রসশূন্য ভাস অপভাস তথাপি সবার মধ্যে পাওয়া বড় যশ so it seems that you are not saying anything very special. You are saying ordinary lines, right? You are not saying very complicated things. So yet in the congregation you are held at a very high esteem. So it does not seem that you are speaking in a very educated tone, right? So when a highly educated person speaks, he speaks in such complicated language that people may not even understand what he is saying, but they feel attracted towards him because they think that this person knows way too much than I do, right? But it seems the other way around. Seriously, Harichand Thakur is saying very simple things in a very simple manner, and yet it seems that people are equally respecting him and holding him to a very high standard. অপকথা কও তবু লোকে মানে কেন নিশ্চয়ই মোহিনী মন্ত্র তোমরাই জানো so অপকথা means a half truth. অপকথা means a falsehood, right? So now it has to be understood that Chaitanya Bala was from the Vaishnavite community, right? So his way or his religion was completely different from what Sri Harichand Thakur was preaching, right? So he considered the Vaishnavite religion to be the then Vaishnavite religion to be superior and to be the only true religion with all its rituals, all its procedures, all its religious rites and customs and everything, right? It's a very complicated system that they had at that time. And so he says that what Harichand Thakur is doing, this is not religion, this is not my religion, this is not Vaishnavism. So he's saying this is falsehood, this is apokatha. But in spite of that, why are people listening to you? It must be that you know some magic. Otherwise, this is not possible. ক্রোধ ভরে তুমি কিছু বলিতে না দিলে, বলিতে পারিবে কেন বলিতে না দিলে? দূর হতে কত লোকে করে আস্ফালন, আসিলে তোমার ঠাই না সরে বচন. So he's saying that a lot of people from distance comment on you, so they despise you. They say that this is not right. What you are doing is different from what we have done over centuries, right? So this is completely different, right? So they know from a distance that what you are doing is different from what is prevalent at that time. But when they come near you, they also not only are they unable to speak, but they themselves become a part of you. They themselves do what you do, and which they had sort of despised a moment ago, which they had hated a moment ago. They themselves start doing what you do, and they themselves become your follower. তাহলে মোহিনী মন্ত্র কিসে তুমি কম, আমি জানি মোহিনী এ তব মতিভ্রম. So he says, due to this, it is certain that Sri Sri Harichand Thakur must be doing some magic. I know this for a fact. Otherwise, how so many people who were leading their life according to the age-old Hindu rituals would have a change of heart? How is it possible that without magic, so many years, so many centuries of rituals would be forgotten all at once, and all the people whose forefathers have handed over to them the rituals and the way to conduct themselves in a religious way, all of that would be set aside and they would be brainwashed by you. It's not possible without magic. So with this context, with Chaitanya Bala despising Sri Sri Harichand Thakur as he was plundering sort of into his wealth of followers, it so happened that his nephew Hiramon fell into the illness of a very complicated fever. He developed a very complicated fever. For over 6 months he was suffering, and hundreds of treatments went into vain but could not cure him. So as days were progressing, he was becoming thin, he was becoming, there were no sort of muscles left in his body, and it was all bare bones. He was suffering from acute anemia. He was losing weight day after day, and they thought that that is, Chaitanya Bala thought that he had no chances of survival. But when Harichand Thakur came to his village, Hiramon, his nephew, Chaitanya Bala's nephew, he also forgot his uncle's teaching and became a follower of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur. And even after Sri Harichand Thakur left, he continued Sri Sri Harichand Thakur's philosophy, and he embraced Motua, the religion of Motua, in spite of the differences that Sri Sri Harichand Thakur had with his uncle Sri Chaitanya Bala. So Sri Chaitanya Bala, seeing his condition, he brought in a few people, brought in some of his followers, and he said that throw him to Orakandi, go and leave him in Orakandi. So Orakandi is the place where sort of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur made Orakandi village is where Harichand Thakur made his base, and he sort of used it as a epicenter to spread the Motua religion. So his uncle Chaitanya Bala said that since he is a Motua and he won't listen to anyone else apart from Sri Harichand Thakur, go take him to Orakandi and leave him there. If he wants to die, let him die there. He does not listen to anyone, he does not have any medicine, he does not do anything I ask him to do. What good is it to have him or to keep him in home in this condition? So there's a poem to this effect. It says, অসার সংসার বলে কেহ কারো নয়, যত বেটা মতুয়ারা এই কথা কয়, মতুয়া হইল এরা কি ধন পাইয়া, বেদ বিধি না মানে ফিরিছে লাপাইয়া. So he says that these motuas have led everyone to forget the normal way of life. So normal way according to him is the way that Hindu, the traditional Hindu religion was being conducted at that time. So the Motuas say that all this is untrue, and you should leave that aside. And it seems that my nephew Hiramon has contaminated himself with this disease. So Motua hoilo era ki dhon pai. So he says that why do they call themselves Motua? They act as if it is their treasure to be called as Motua. It is all the worldly sort of treasure that they get by calling themselves Motua. They don't follow any Vedic sort of way of life, and all that they do is dance and sing around. So it seems that nobody is no one's, and we do not understand who is crying for whom. Everybody seems to be crying for everybody, and all the selfish, all the interest, all the personal interest have been kept aside, and everybody seems to be only submitting themselves to Sri Sri Harichand Thakur. Hori bole din rat kore sorashori baba jodi Harichand thak sei bari. So he says that his nephew Hiramon, the whole day the only thing is chant Horibol and preach the teachings of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur and consider him as his father. So he says that if you consider him as his father, you go and stay with him. There's no point in staying with me. So he says that uncle, aunt, friends, brothers mean nothing to this fellow, and so what you have to do is you take him to Urakandi and leave him there, and I will see what kind of father he gets there. So he's so boisterous in calling Sri Sri Harichand Thakur his father. Leave him there and I'll see how good a father he gets. And since he was doing this, since he fell ill while doing this, maybe it's better that you leave him to that person who caused this illness. How now Orakandi noy Mollokandi, Omuruk Motora Koruk Kadakadi. So either take him to Orakandi or Mollokandi. These were two of the bases from which Sri Sri Harichand Thakur operated. And if he has to die, then let him die there, and let the Motuas cry for him, because he thinks the Motuas are his family. We are no one. Horidas Mrityunjoy dohe naki Brahmo. So he says that Harichand Thakur and Mrityunjoy, one of his greatest followers, they are this guy Hiramon thinks that they are part of the Brahma, so they are godmen, so they are incarnations of the Lord. So he thinks that, so let him go to them, and let's see how they infuse life in him and remove his illness. Mora Guru Bachaiya Johuri Prakash, Ei Mora Bachaiya Lok Haridas. So he says that it's one thing saving a dead cow, it's one thing making a ill cow to be illness free, but it's another thing to make him survive, because there is no hope that remains in his life. So take him to Sri Sri Harichand Thakur, and let's see how Sri Harichand Thakur, whom he calls his father, is able to make him feel better. We heard the story of how Hiramon was brought into Sri Sri Harichand Thakur's aunt, and then we all know that Hiramon, Pagul Hiramon as he is called, became one of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur's greatest followers. Now we will hear the story of another such person who had a change of heart, who had a sea change in his life once he was brought into the confluence of Sri Sri Harichand Thakur. His name was Dasharath. So Dasharath was a very learned person, was a truth-speaking person, was enlightened, not in that sense, but he had he had very high religious education of that time. So he used to bathe every thrice every day, and he did not take food without bathing. And he used to chant the name of the Lord thrice a day, and he used to wear all sorts of religious ornaments. He used to do all the sort of rituals through which you would stay hungry for days after days, and all sort of things. He would do the rituals. He would do the pujas every morning and every night, and in the night he would not have any food. Either he would have fruits or he would go without food. So and he used to read, or he used to chant, or he used to recite the shlokas of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Bhagavad Gita every day, and he made that a part of his daily routine. So such a person, such a religious-minded person, this person also fell into a bout of very high fever. So at first he was a little ill, and then after 2 months he did not recover. Not only he did not recover, but he fell. But the bouts of fever kept on increasing. So in the months of April, May, when his fever was not subsiding and he had been ill for 6-7 months, he heard that and his body had almost fallen apart. His body was breaking down, and he could not even walk without a stick, without support. He heard that there is this person by the name of Harichand Thakur in Orakandi, to whom every day thousands and thousands of ill people were going, and they were coming out healthy, and he was doing and he was treating them. He was treating everyone, and everyone was recovering their health. So as a sort of last hope, he also decided to take the journey towards Orakandi. So he went to Orakandi, and he visited the ashram of Sri Harichand Thakur, and there is a nice conversation between them in the form of a poem. So ঠাকুর বলেন বাছা কি নাম তোমার, দশরথ বলে আমি বড় দুরাচার, নাম মোর দশরথ পদ্মবিলা বাস, প্রভু বলে তুমি তো দশরথ বিশ্বাস. So Sri Harichand Thakur, when Dasharath went to meet Harichand Thakur, he asked him his name. He said, "My name is Dasharath, and I'm feeling very hopeless, and I'm feeling very ill right now. My body has given up, almost given up, and I have no hope left. And I have come all the way from the village of Podobila, and Sri Harichand Thakur said, "Oh, you are the Dasharath Biswas from Podobila village." And he said, "Yes. তুই তো বিশ্বাস আমি বড় অবিশ্বাস, তন্ত্রে মন্ত্রে শৌচাচারে না হয় বিশ্বাস, কেন বা আসিলি বাছা আমার নিকটে, তুই শুদ্ধাচারী মোর শৌচ নাহি মোটে." So Sri Harichand Thakur is saying, in your name, so Biswas means trust. So there is trust in your name, but I have no trust in the things that you do. I have no trust in the mantras, in the Vedic mantras. I have no trust in the lifestyle that you guys lead. You guys think that you have achieved the highest echelons of religiosity through your actions, but I am not that. I live a very simple life, and probably I am not the right person to teach you, because you are very pure sort of in your actions. So it's sort of so Sri Harichand Thakur is kind of addressing him in a slightly mocking tone. He says that you have achieved so much purity. What do I have to give to you? তিন বেলা সন্ধ্যা করো আরো স্নানান্নিক, স্নান পূজা সন্ধ্যান্নিক মোর নাহি ঠিক, কুকুরে উচ্ছিষ্ট প্রসাদ পেলে খাই, বেদ বিধি শৌচাচার নাহি মানি তাই. So further Harichand Thakur says that you bath 3 times a day, and then after bathing you pray, and then you eat. But my routine is very different. I don't pray 3 times a day. I am not as pure as you. কুকুরের উচ্ছিষ্ট প্রসাদ পেলে খাই বেদ যদি সোটা চার নাহি মানা চাই সো I would never follow. So Sri Harichand Thakur says, I would never follow the customs and rituals of the Vedas. In fact, if I were to choose between the customs and rituals of Vedas and between the food that has been left by dogs, I would choose the latter over the Vedic rituals. Such is my hate or such is my contempt for Vedic rituals. But you are a person of highest Vedic knowledge, highest Vedic customs. Why have you come to me? মোর ঠাই এলি বাছা কিসের কারণ কহ শুনি মনো কথা বুঝি তোর মন So here Harichand Thakur says that for what have you come to me? Open up, speak up, and let me understand what you are thinking of why such a religious person, such a pure pious person has to come to such a lowly creature as me. So in a way, Sri Harichand Thakur is sort of setting himself up for setting Dasharath up for a fall. শুদ্ধাচারী প্রকাশিয়া বল শুনি ওহে দশরথ শুদ্ধাচারী সাধু তোর কি বা মনোরথ কি জানি কি ওড়াকান্দি না হয় প্রত্যয় কোথাকার হরিয়েলো ওড়াকান্দি গায় So he further says that speak up to me, open your heart and say to me directly that I am a pure and pious person, and how have you or how did you come to this place which is full of such pious persons like me, and where from you have come, Sri Harichand Thakur, where you have come to this place which is Vaishnavite in its very nature, and how are you able to stay put in such a place? নদিয়াতে গৌর রূপে গোলক বল্লভ ওড়াকান্তি জন্ম তার কিসে অসম্ভব মিন হইনু কর্ম হইনু বরাহ নৃসিংহ তাহতে কি হীন হইনে লয়ে নরদেহ মাতাকে করার দিনু নদিয়ার ভুবনে করিব মা শেষ লীলা ঈশান করে So here Sri Harichand Thakur is explaining to Dasharath. So Dasharath does not consider Harichand Thakur as a highly sort of religious person, but here what Harichand Thakur is doing is explaining to Dasharath that the history is replete of such instances where the Lord himself have come down in various form of incarnation, not only human, animal, fish, all kinds of incarnation, half animal, half human. So he has come down in all kinds of incarnation. So how difficult is it or why is it so difficult for Dasharath to trust the fact that the Lord can come in the form of a lowly human, of a human belonging to the depressed class. So he says that I have incarnated myself in the adjoining district of Nodia. Why can't you believe that I can incarnate myself in Orakandi as well? এই সেই লীলা সেই অবতার ইহার উপরে পূর্ণ লীলা নাহে আর মনো ঠিক করো বাছা চিন্তা নাহি আর পালিয়েছে পালা আর না শিবে জ্বর So he says that in my last incarnation I signaled that I'll be coming from the east, and I have done so. Since you follow my last incarnation, and my last incarnation already revealed in the final acts of that incarnation that I'll be reborn from the northeast pole, why is it hard for you to believe me? But he says that I have come, and nevertheless I would perform my plays, and my story will be replete with such instances as was my last incarnation. So he says that this story will be bigger than my last or any of my stories. So further he says, don't lose heart, or pick up your heart, pick up your spirits. And I'm telling this in front of everyone that I will heal you. Your fever will not come back. শ্রী গুরু চরণ চিন্তা ভব্য ব্যাধি নাশে ওড়াকান্তি এলে তার জ্বর থাকে কিসে So Sri Harichand Thakur says that when someone falls into the feet of the Lord and submits himself, and he has the guts or he has the gumption to come to Orakandi to relieve himself of his illness, why fear? So he has done his bit, and now it's time for the Lord and his powers to play. প্রভু কহে শেষ লীলা বড় চমৎকার, লীলাকারী যেই তার নিজে বোঝা ভার। প্রভু কহে এতে তোর সাধন বোঝন, শুদ্ধাচারী বৈরাগীর ব্যাধি কি কারণ। প্রভু কহে দশরথ তোমারে জানাই, শৌচাচার করে তোর হলো সূচিবাই। স্নান না করিয়া কিছু খাও না কখন, স্নান না করিয়া অদ্য করগে ভোজন। কাল রাত ভাত রাধিয়াছে রেখেছে জল দিয়া, কাঁচা ঝাল দিয়া সেই ভাত খাও গিয়া। So it says that, so you consider yourself to be very pious, right? So why this illness then? Is it because that you are leading a very sort of unnatural lifestyle, right? You are leading a very unhumanly lifestyle. Humans are not supposed to live like this. So he says that you do not eat before bathing, but I'm telling you, go and have some food without bathing, without taking a bath. And that food will not be fresh food. It's leftover food from last night. Mix it in water, have it with some spices, and you will feel better. I'm telling you, trust me, and go do it. So, upon hearing this, Dasharath thought to himself that I have come so far. Let me follow what this person is saying. So he went inside. He asked the wife of Sri Harichand Thakur, Sri Santi Mata, and the mother gave him some leftover food from last night, leftover rice with a bit of spices, and he rested for a while, and then he started feeling immediately better, and he came and reported it to Sri Harichand Thakur. মহাপ্রভু বলে দশরথ এবে আয়, পাইবি লাবড়া অন্ন মধ্যাহ্ন সময়, কিনা কি এ ওড়া কান্দি না পালি ভাবিয়ে, আয় দেখি ক্ষণকাল তো বসি তোরে লয়ে। So the Lord is saying, Sri Harichand called Dasharath to near him, and he says that you have ate in the morning, you have had some rest, you're feeling better. Don't worry, I'll give you some more food in the afternoon. But in the meantime, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that where have I come to, and what will happen to my lifestyle, and what will happen to my rituals and all. And follow that all my life, and I can understand what this village as a whole is up to. So Harichand Thakur sort of reaffirms that don't worry, come to me and let's chat a little. Let's see what you are actually thinking, right?